July 15, 2000, Rodney Stafford and Tara McDonald gave birth to Victoria Tori Stafford. She was the younger of two children. When she was 2 years old, her parents divorced. Tori and her brother moved live with their mother, Tara McDonald, and later her new partner, James Goris. It is said that Rodney was mainly absent for the most part of his children's life. People who knew Tori describe her as an outgoing, kind youngster who straddled the girly girl and tomboy categories. Along with dancing and dressing up, she also enjoyed exploring and getting messy. She loved to make people laugh and had a tenacious attitude. When it came to getting up early for school, she is said to have been a nightmare. But on Sundays, she was always up bright and early so she could go to church with her maternal grandmother. Tori was close to her older brother Darren throughout her entire short life. They were best friends. They frequently strolled together to Oliver Stevens Public School. Early in April 2009, a block from Tori's elementary school, her family relocated to a new house. The family as a whole was happy to have a new dwelling to call their own because they had previously lived with their maternal grandmother. On April 8, 2009, Darren and Tori walked to their school as usual. They attended class all day and were let out at 3:25 p.m. Darren typically walked home with his little sister, but that particular day he had first to drop off some small kids at their house. The house was close to Oliver Stevens Public School. When he came back, Tori wasn't at school. He assumed Tori had left without him. The first time she would walk home by herself. Tori mistakenly left behind a set of butterfly earrings she had borrowed from her mother. According to her teacher, she left the classroom after her classmates, about 5 minutes later. She was seen being led down Fife Avenue by an unidentified woman in a white coat at around 3:32 p.m. on video from a security camera at College Avenue Secondary School. In addition to the green t-shirt, denim skirt, and black and white sneakers, Tori was wearing a black Hannah Montana jacket with a white fur-lined hood. She was carrying a Bratz branded purse in purple and pink. Since Tori had been anticipated to arrive at the house at about 3:45 p.m., Darren found it worrying when she wasn't there. He took his bike and went out to look for his sister, but couldn't find her. A friend of hers contacted the house 10 minutes later and left a message about what she and Tori were doing that night. The young girl had invited a couple of her closest friends over for a movie night. Tara went outside to start her daughter's search around 4:30 p.m. Darren was by that point visiting his local cousin. There he picked up his mother's phone and learned that Tori still hadn't returned home. Tori's friends had been contacted, but none of them had seen her. Calling her mother, Linda Winters, at 5:20 p.m., the two started driving around Woodstock looking for Tori. A police officer was waiting outside Oliver Stevens Public School. They immediately informed him, and a missing person report was filed. At 6:04 p.m., Tori Stafford's disappearance was formally reported. At 6:25 p.m., about 20 minutes later, Rodney was informed of his daughter's disappearance. The Oxford Community Police Service oversaw the preliminary inquiry into Tori's disappearance. The agency contacted other police services in southwest Ontario the following day to request help. On April 17, 2009, the Ontario Provincial Police eventually became involved. The night investigators searched around her elementary school as they were notified of Tori's disappearance, but they found no trace of her. Rodney contacted various family members and asked if they'd seen or heard from Tori. His apartment was searched to rule him out as a suspect. Given how long it took Tara to file a missing persons report for Tori, suspicion fell first on her. She and Rodney had argued during an earlier news appearance, during which he had criticized her for what he saw to be a lack of passion, and she had accused him of being a father figure who had abandoned their children. Her OxyContin addiction, for which she was receiving treatment, led some locals to suspect she was involved. As soon as Tara became aware of the rumors, she went to the media to clarify that Tori's disappearance had nothing to do with any alleged drug debt and that Tara had been completely excluded from any involvement by authorities. Both of Tori's parents had also successfully completed lie detector tests. When Tori went missing on April 9, 2009, her grandparents offered a $10,000 reward for information that would lead to her recovery. The College Avenue Secondary School security footage was found on that same day. It was noticed Tori didn't fight her suspected kidnapper. A white female between the ages of 19 and 25 accompanied Tori. The following day, in a description that was made public, she was 120 to 125 pounds, and her height ranged from 5'1" to 5'2". She had straight black hair that was put back into a ponytail. She was also wearing a puffy white coat and a pair of skinny black trousers. Numerous tips about the unidentified woman were received in response to the request for information. People in her immediate vicinity had told Tara McDonald that the woman resembled an acquaintance named Terry Lynn McClintock, so she called the police. Using the tips, McClintock, 18, was detained for violating custody and supervision under the circumstances of a separate warrant. She would ultimately confess to authorities 1 month after originally denying any involvement with the case. The search for Tori extended beyond the neighborhood. Authorities searched wooded areas and ravines for signs of the young child with the help of the Woodstock Fire Department and an OPP helicopter. Tara pleaded with Tori to get in touch with the family at a vigil on April 12, 2009, which took place in Woodstock. Then, a month later, there would be an open letter Tara had written to her daughter. Lack of information led to the official ground search being suspended the following day. The investigators were still optimistic that Tori might yet be discovered alive. Oliver Stevens Public School eventually welcomed back Tori's classmates on April 14, 2009, after nearly a week of absences. America's Most Wanted highlighted Tori's case on April 15, 2009. On May 4, 2009, more surveillance video was made available. This time, it showed footage of a dark station wagon being seen driving down the same street where Tori was last seen strolling with the woman. McClintock gave a second interview on May 12, 2009, during which she described what she did on the day Tori vanished. She consented to make a written statement to detectives 3 days later on May 15. Another suspect, 28-year-old Michael Rafferty, who McClintock had just recently begun seeing, was questioned on this day. Rafferty refuted the claim, stating that he and McClintock were simply friends. Additionally, he denied knowing anything about the disappearance other than what he had heard on the news. The Victoria Day Parade in Woodstock, New York, was attended by many of Tori's followers and relatives on May 18, 2009. McClintock took a polygraph test on May 19, 2009 at the police department and confessed that she was the woman in the video. She was informed that she would face charges of kidnapping and aiding murder. Additionally, Rafferty was detained that evening. A missing poster, along with a piece of paper with Tara's home phone number, were discovered by authorities at his residence. A few hours after his detention, he was interrogated, but he refuted the allegations. It's said that the search for Tori was one of the largest searches to ever occur in Canada. It included searches of the landfill and officers searching along the side of a 51-kilometer stretch of 401 highway. Police accused McClintock of 2 offenses on May 20, 2009, and Rafferty of first-degree murder. 8 days later, first-degree murder and unlawful detention would be added to McClintock's accusations. It was decided that they will be tried separately. Details regarding McClintock's background also became known when the news of the arrest spread. She had been born to a stripper and was later adopted by Carl McClintock, another stripper. Her birth father's identity is a mystery. She and Carol moved around Ontario as children, living in homes that were allegedly filled with drugs, alcohol, and a parade of men. She was frequently lived in incredibly harmful circumstances, and her siblings claimed that she had a history of doing drugs with Carol. Nothing could be done to alter the situation, even though her brother and aunt tried to step in by contacting the authorities. McClintock claims that when she was approximately 8 or 9 years old, she first started smoking. As her behavior worsened, she started abusing drugs and alcohol and ran into legal issues. She had previously been detained on suspicion of crimes such as robbery and violence, and she has since told a tale about how she once microwaved her dog till it cried. She turned down an invitation to move home with her brother, who served in the Canadian Armed Forces in 2007, on the condition that she attend school and follow the regulations. Following her arrest, McClintock helped searchers locate Tori's remains. According to her lawyer, she wanted the family to know that she was doing all possible to aid. A helicopter was utilized to search the area from above after she gave police the location of Highway 6 and Side Road 6 in Wellington County. She was re-interviewed after that failed, and she created a map showing the potential location of the remains.